Chapter 7. It's going to be a short chapter, and I'll tell you why. What were your grandparents like when you were a kid? Well, my grandparents didn't last very long when I was a kid. I think the oldest one of my grandparents was the oldest I was when all my grandparents were dead. I was about 10 years old. I didn't know that much about them. Two of them I didn't know anything about. On my father's side, I guess they died before when I was just a baby. But the difference between grandparents then, now this is my experience. You might have, oh, what does he say? But listen, this is my experience, my book. So anyway, my grandparents were not like the grandparents today. I'm a grandparent, and I'm sure many of you are grandparents that are watching this. And today, grandparents are really like the second coming. Your grandchildren, it's like everything. Not then. My grandparents, all of them who came from Italy, on my mother's side, my grandfather, for instance, was a master carpenter. He came over from Italy, worked in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and built a house in the Bronx, a two-family, which later became a three-family, and it's still there, and it's worth over $900,000, and he built it. He was a craftsman. How many words have I with them? Not many. All I remember, he used to chase me. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. And my grandmother was the matriarch of the family, and she would sit with her daughters, and they would make homemade macaroni, whatever they did. It was, you're going to have 4-hour meals, so it was a lot of food. And I would be sent down sometimes. My father and mother would send me down for the wine, get a pitcher of wine, of homemade wine. And I go down the basement. He had a wine cellar. And when I got it down there, I turned on the light, and there he was, white. He was very white. He had a white beard. His skin was white. And he'd be sitting in his favorite chair in the dark with his pipe and drinking his homemade wine. And the lament was, get the hell out of here. Really, get the hell out of here. Okay, so I go back upstairs. And my grandmother, I'll give her for instance. I'm on my bike, I'm on my cousin's bike, I'm riding, he's giving me a ride on his bike, I'm on the handlebar. And we tried to go up a curb, and he didn't negotiate it, and we fell. And the bike came down on my head, and I got a broken nose. And it was bleeding like crazy. So about a half a block away was my grandmother's house, so that's where I went. So my grandmother looked at my face full of blood, takes a dishcloth, and puts it on me, gives it to me, puts it on my nose. Go home to your mother. You know what I mean? They ran the family. They had no time for me. I mean, I had a lot of grandkids, and I wasn't like, it wasn't that they didn't like me. It's just they had other things to do. They had let's face it, this was a unknown world. They came from Italy, man, and they established themselves pretty decent. And I'm going to get into how successful the family is and was. Now, my family, on my father's side, my grandparents, I didn't know them at all. But rumors have it that my grandfather was a ladies' man. At least that's what his daughter told me. And he was very cool. And he opened, when he came in when he came here from Italy, he opened up a factory and had 3 stores. And they had money. He had 3 stores. It was the dry goods stores. And my father, who when he got older, he hired him to run one of the stores. I think it was in Eastchester, New York. In fact, I used to call my father Ginsburg because of dry goods. And that was the only store losing money, and my grandfather didn't know why. He later found out that if you were a pretty girl and came in to buy something, my father gave you for free. So he fired my father. And I think my father took a lot, took after him a lot as far as, he was a little bit, when he was young, he was a dapper, he used to have a cane. He didn't need a cane. The straw hat, the spats, he'd go up the block like, he was a ladies' man. But anyway, that's my grandparents. Nothing like they are today. Oh, come here, come here. No, no, no. They ran the family. They dealt with their daughters and their son. And their daughters and sons supposed to take care of their kids. And that's the way it was. Today it might be a little bit different story. So that's it. On to chapter 8.